I'm just a lazy video gamer, even too lazy to make a new intro. Hello out there in the land, it's me again, the lazy video gamer, and welcome to another beautiful Sunday episode of the Lazy Video Gamer Show. As you maybe can guess from the back, and I announced last week, today it's the second episode of the PC Engine episodes. I want to mention before I starting with the games that my collection isn't the biggest one, so yeah, no Splatterhouse in it, if I be honest, because I never purchased the game on the PC Engine. But at a certain point I was, let me say it that way, not wise, and I purchased an original of it and not a reproduction of it. I'm talking about a game that I actually own, and I will cover it in this episode. So sit back, relax, push the pause button, get yourself a coffee or a tea or another beverage, and then push the button again, cause this will be a longer ride. And I'm starting with a little warning. This is The Art of Fighting, a PC Engine arcade CD, and you needed this special U-card to run this and other games. But what you are getting then is an awesome part of the game, of course, on the reason of the CD-ROM. You're getting a fantastic audio, and with the more hardware power you're getting this zooms in the levels, which you are now thinking maybe they are annoying if you compare it to the Mega Drive version or other versions of the game. But those zooms were actually in the original game on the Neo Geo, and it shows the enhanced hardware power. It was the first game from this team who split up from Capcom and built it SNK, so it is in the core, the continuation of the first Street Fighter, but with a lot of better optics, of course. Now let me call it just Kunio-kun Soccer. The original title is, for me, not possible to spoken out loud. It's calling Neketsu no Dodgeball Kunio-kun Soccer, or something like that. It was also released as U-card, but of course with the CD-ROM technique there is a better audio and this intro. But if I remember correct, the intro was also there on the U-card. Yeah. For the Nintendo fanboys, you probably know this game as well under the title Nintendo World Cup Soccer. The big difference is, here in this game you can also compete later at the World Cup tournament, but only as Japan. and you had to play and win against the different schools from Japan to qualify yourself for the World Cup. When it comes to the graphic, it is of course more enhanced than the NES version. There is a version on the Mega Drive as well from this game, and it looks similar, but there was never a Super Nintendo version of this game. When it comes to the game itself, it's rule-less soccer with special shots. You are the captain and commanding your teammates. So yeah, it shouldn't be missed out if you have a console who has an adaptation of this game. Now, as you can guess in the title, I'm featuring also Sega games, and this is of course the legendary Afterburner 2. In this version it's bone shaking hard. You only have your 5 or 3 lives, 3 continues. It's very accurate to the arcade original. It's, as I mentioned, bone shaking hard. It's fast and full packed with fun. What else should I say about Afterburner? I mean, it's a classic, and yeah, once again, you shouldn't miss that game out. Doesn't matter on which console you played. Okay, maybe not on the Mega Drive, because that is in fact the weakest port for the hardware to compare it. You also can play it on the Sega Saturn, of course, or on the 32X. But now to the next game. Fantasy Zone, a classical shoot 'em up. Cute, cuddly, hard as hell, in my opinion. But yeah, if you like shooters and Sega games, now, Space Harrier is of course a cool game. Created by Yu Suzuki and his team back in the day. Fast, loud, explosive. Reprogrammed for the PC Engine, but that doesn't mean a bad thing. It is an awesome port of the game. And yeah, with this port and every other port of Sega games, sadly asking prices are rising. Dragon Spirit, a shoot 'em up with this dragon. Yeah, shoot 'em ups back in the day, not my special love, but in fact it's a great shoot 'em up. Not even only on the topic. Good graphics, no flickerings, air and ground targets to hit and fight against. So maybe it's worth around 2 or 3. Now, R-Type. I only show it shortly because I don't love it. I know I'm not making any friends with this with these words, but I never loved it. It is so hard. It is good, unquestionable, but yeah, I mentioned it twice now. It would be the third time. It was so big that they had to split it up in 2 cartridges. So you got some levels on the first and some levels on what was called on the PC Engine R-Type 2. Yeah, Space Invaders. What should I say? It's a classic, right? And it is worth a round or 2 every time when I'm firing up my PC Engine. And it is so iconic and a classical game. I even have it on my Playwatch for the wait on the bus or train. Another cool Sega game and a racing game is Power Drift. A super scaler from the 80s. Makes a lot of fun. Also not very cheap these days. But a great conversation of the game. Of course, Outrun can't be missed out, and it's almost everything in it. As you recognize, you don't have these 2 tracks at the start who are melting into one. But what you have is the legendary Horsebuck in this episode, and the tracks are in fact in correct order. Great music, stable graphics, always a fun to play. Final Lap Twin from Namco is, in my opinion, the better Formula 1 game than Formula 1 Circus that I showed you in the last episode. It is a classical racing game, in my opinion, because I never was a big fan of top-down races. So the only tear in my eye is the split screen. On the lower screen is your direct opponent, and you are playing on the upper screen. Great scaling effects and good sounds. Learn the tracks, learn the corners, and you have a great time with this game. Now, Victory Run is a direct or almost direct clone to Outrun from NEC themselves. You're playing the famous rally Paris-Dakar in different sections, And your goal, of course, is to reach the goal on each of those sections. You can boost your car, as you saw, with better tires and repair it also. It's a fun racing game, and in my opinion, a PC Engine classic. Now, Super Soccer on the Super Nintendo was produced by Human, and Human on the other side made a lot of soccer games for the PC Engine, where this series originally came from. This entry is Japan League, or Formation Soccer on Japan League. So you playing all those Japanese soccer teams with their mascots in the logo, but on the field itself it is 100% what you expecting of a cool and great looking soccer game. As you saw, the language barrier is here in form of the menus, but it is too good to let out of this episode. Now, as a wrestling fan, Champion Wrestler shouldn't be missed out. It was produced by Taito, and it is available even still today on the Nintendo Switch under its original name. 8 generic muscle monsters fighting against each other. You have to learn the moves, you have to learn the controls, but in fact it's a good one, and I'm happy to have it in my collection. Now, Data East presenting us Winning Shot, and in my opinion a great golf game. It's very easy to play at first sight, and it is actually user friendly, coming with this nice cartoony characters, but in the core it is a serious golf game. And yeah, if you like a relaxing round of golf, I'm glad to have it in my collection. Human Sports Festival was a compilation of 3 different sports games presented with this beautiful anime girl containing a variation of 3 sports titles. First I want to take a look at Final Match Tennis Ladies. Yeah, you heard it right, the only female tennis players in it. But in fact, it is still tennis. It is awesome and has the typical human graphic. So, in my opinion, awesome. Of course, a soccer variation has to be on this CD as well. In my opinion, a little bit weaker than the first game that I showed you, but only a little. Still a great adaptation of the sport. And if you're playing on a budget, this 3-in-1 compilation will serve you right. The third game is, once again, a golf game, packed in a more serious costume. But also great to play. A little bit more in the depth when it comes to the controls than winning shot. But it's on the disc, it's for free, if you like it that way. Now I have to confess, I don't have this game, but I thought I just wanna show those games as well. Cause originally they came from NEC and only the character itself, who is called Dan Wonderboy, is a trademark of Sega. All entries are here. It's all in it, what you're expecting. Great music, no flickering, a lot of fun. The Dragon's Trap, or Dragon's Curse. The third entry in the, franchise of Master Higgins or Wonderboy. It was so many times on every console released back in the day under different names, but it makes in every version fun, of course, but the PC Engine version rocks as well. Now, also this game I'm showing you with an emulation, cause I can't find my original anymore, but I'm pretty sure I never sold it and it has to be somewhere in the attic. It's Son Part 2. In fact, it was one of those games I had from the beginning when I got my PC Engine. It was different than Mario, of course, it was different than Sonic. But I grew up with an illegal Game Boy module, a 24 or something like that, in one module, and I was used to different games and learned back in the day to appreciate them for being different. You are this little fellow who are platforming through the levels with his stick as a weapon, jumping around and try to rescue your pals. A great game. Now this CD game is also something different. It's a self-scrolling jump and gone in a, for my opinion, cute environment, but it's named Horror Story. As you can see, your opponents are evil butterflies and tricycle riding monsters. It's not easy. Came with a crystal clear sound and is even today worth of my time. Now I show this game to you as example. I have it on a pack entitled CD from the States with this cool CD-ROM logo who is falling away of you. It contains the legendary BC Kit, aka Bonk. This little fellow is a bone-shaking rock star. An awesome platformer with nice graphic, cool sound, a great playability, and the little twist that he is vegetarian. So when he has eaten too much meat, he exploding and get furious. So yeah, what I learned about this game was don't miss out on a good steak, but don't eat too much of it. No, seriously, it makes a lot of fun. With his headbutt mechanic, it is a game that stands out for many titles. Now, Jim Power and the Mutant Planet is in my case funny because I saw artworks from back in the day, but for example on the Mega Drive it was never released as Jim Power and the Lost Dimension. I kickstarted it. It came from Pico Interactive nowadays, and I have this copy also from Pico Interactive when I placed my last order in their shop. So if you listen to the music, if I would be a little bit quieter, you would recognize that this sound is awesome. It's made from the legendary composer Chris Hülsbeck, who was also the man behind the Star Wars games on the GameCube and of course the Turrican series earlier. It is bone-shaking hard, but it earned for many reasons a place in my shelf. Altered Beast. What should I say? I'm featuring it in here because it's a Sega game. It is a good conversation of the game, but back in the day I liked more to play Sonic or Streets of Rage. But it has, of course, his place in video game history. So I think I have to mention this game, and it features all what you're expecting from Altered Beast. Even the beast transformations are great converted in it. Now the original Shinobi shines on the PC engine, because it is Shinobi in its original form and not the later censored version on the Mega Drive without the references to pop stars or comic figures who appeared in this game. When it comes to the technique of the game, it's of course an awesome made game, but yeah, it's too hard for me. Now you waited for this game and I should be quiet now.
Niemand glaubte, dass es in Zukunft zu einer Bedrohung kommt. Auf der Schattenseite des Friedens und des Wachstums gab und gibt es aber auch immer das Böse. Die Menschen beginnen, das Wachstum abzulehnen und bezeichnen den Frieden als Degeneration. Wir haben uns hier versammelt, um die Mächte der Finsternis mit unserem verfluchten Blut zu rufen. Wir wollen, dass sie die Welt regieren. Wir erwarten lächelnd den Niedergang der Welt. Nach 100 Jahren ist der Böse wieder auferstanden. Er kann sich in eine Fledermaus, einen Wolf und Nebel verwandeln. Er liebt die Nacht. Er schlürft das Blut von jungen Frauen und lebt ewig. Der Burgherr des Teufelsschlosses, der Herr des Bösen, Graf Dracula ist auferstanden.
Yeah, now should be the time that I'm talking again. If you don't understand something what they said before, it was on the reason that the intro was spoken in German. So why they did this, I'm not quite sure, but it brings or brought a certain feel to the game. The name, of course, is Castlevania X Rondo of Blood. Was Super Castlevania on the Super Nintendo an evolving from the first, or a new interpretation of the first Castlevania? This entry is a continuation of the Castlevania, an evolving of the Castlevania franchise, and thanks to the CD-ROM technique. A great graphic, great music, great effects. No wonder that many fans of the series count this game as the best entry in the entire series. Sadly, you know that probably as well, the asking prices for an original are so crazy high that, as I always saying, if you can live with a reproduction, go with such a thing and have your fun with this game. If you wanna play it on your PlayStation Portable, there is a port there. But yeah, this is the original and it's awesome. Multiple paths, secret passages, so many things to discover and so many bad guys to fight against. It is Castlevania. Now, Vigilante or Vigilant or however it is pronounced is an old but charming side-scroll beat 'em up. It comes in the game mechanic very close to Kung Fu or Kung Fu Master from Iron. I like those games, and this game looks good and plays fine. Another arcade CD-ROM and another Street Fighter 2 counterfeit or clone. It's World Heroes 2 in this incarnation with his crazy roster of characters: a German general, a pirate, a football player, a Viking, a knight. So many characters to choose from, and yeah, thanks to the CD it comes with a great music, and thanks to the arcade CD power, also with an amazing graphic. When it comes to the gameplay, it is really a Street Fighter 2 clone. You can select between those two match types: the normal match and deathmatch. When it comes to the graphic, it's very colorful, and if you can live without the Ryu's and Ken's and John Lee's and can't get enough of this one-on-one beat 'em up games, give it a try. I mentioned it, you also have this death match mode. where the rings are not, or the fighting areas are not just limited to left and right and nothing happens. There are obstacles in the course, or you're fighting into a wrestling ring with electric borders surrounded, so you can't just hide. Also, an arcade CD-ROM is Fatal Fury Special. What I should say about this game, it is an awesome fighting game and I like it a lot. And the version on the PC Engine is in fact superior to the Mega Drive version. Yeah, that is not a secret. It comes really close to the Neo Geo original. There is also a Fatal Fury 2 on the PC Engine as arcade CD-ROM, but I'm just featuring this one in this episode, yeah, as an example. If you are willing to spend a few bucks on this arcade CD-ROM U-card to play this game, you won't be disappointed. But be warned, those cartridges aren't that cheap anymore. So if you can play it on an emulation system, just for comparison, you should check it out, because it's a really good part of the game. Now, a game I was looking forward to talk about it is Trust of Wolf, aka Riot Zone. It is in fact, besides a little bit sometimes clunky animation, one of my favorite side-scroll beat-em-ups. It is a Final Fight clone in its entire glory plus more. From the intro to the levels or the backstory itself, it is so near to Final Fight, it's hilarious. What also is hilarious, you can choose between these two characters who are, yeah, let me say, a little bit funny named. Cause I'm every time thinking Hawk would, as name would fit more to the right-sided punk. On the reason on his hairs. But yeah, I'm playing here as Hawk, who is inspired by Cody. The game itself has a great music, a little bit a slow speed, also a little bit a clunky character animation, but as I said, it is still one of my favorites in this genre. Not at least on the funny names of your opponents, from Thin Lizzy, oh sorry, I misread it, Thin Liz, even to Lucky Luke. I'm not quite sure what they thought when they named the characters. And every time when I'm playing it and I have to punch down Lucky Luke, I think it's ridiculous, cause yeah, for those who are like comics as well, you probably know that Lucky Luke is the man who pulls the gun faster than his own shadow, and here you put him faster down as his own shadow can drop. When I purchased it a couple of years ago, maybe, oh I can't remember, it's a long time ago, the seller told me it's nice, but it's very short. But short isn't every time bad. But it wasn't short enough to spare out the famous elevator levels every side-scroll beat-em-up has to have at least one of those. What I really like, okay, I like the entire game, but there's this one scene I'm always looking forward, and that is when the second boss just drops in from the background in the level and in the fight. Everywhere in the past to fill the gap for not having Tetris. On home computers, on the Atari Lynx, on the Mega Drive, on the PC Engine, as you can see, even on the Game Boy. Klux was everywhere. The rules of the games are simple. Catch the tiles with your little holding barrel, place it horizontally, vertical or diagonal, and make them disappear. But don't let the tiles fall into the empty. That doesn't work. When they fall down, they are gone. So, and that was it for this week's episode of the Lazy Video Gamer Show. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday as well. Till the next time, have a great day, a great week, and don't forget, the bad one wins.